Have you ever wondered why a story makes you feel something before you even understand what is happening? That reaction is not an accident. It is engineered. Welcome to a master class on narrative emotional tone. When we read, we assume our reactions come from the plot or the characters. But before the brain processes the story, the body already reacts to something else. Think of it as a mechanical frequency. Just as a low sound wave can make your chest vibrate, the tone of a sentence dictates your immediate visceral response. First, let us clear up a common misconception. Tone is not the same as the narrator's personality. The narrator's voice is a stable internal core. It carries the identity, the biases, and the worldview of the person telling the story. Tone, however, is the external atmospheric layer. It is the emotional atmosphere that shapes how the reader feels. Because they are distinct, you can engineer powerful contrasts. A deeply cynical narrator, placed inside a bright, hopeful tone, creates a complex, bittersweet resonance. So, how do we actually build this tone? It rests on three mechanical pillars. The first pillar is sentence rhythm. Think of sentence length as a form of pulse width modulation. Every period is a reset, and every comma is a slight delay. Short, choppy sentences act like rapid staccato peaks. They restrict breath and artificially accelerate the reader's heartbeat to create tension. Long lyrical sentences do the opposite. They stretch the wavelength and let the reader exhale slowly, evoking calm or deep melancholy. Look at the math behind the feeling. If we map the word counts of sentences in an action thriller, we see extreme variance. Short, punchy fragments clash with sudden long bursts. This rhythmic inconsistency creates a visceral sense of unrest. Now contrast that with a literary pastoral scene. Here the sentences stay consistently long and flowing. That stable rhythm feels calm and dreamy. By controlling this rhythmic pulse, you dictate the reader's physical state before they even process the words. The second pillar is detail selection. Every scene presents a vast array of raw reality. As a writer, you cannot describe everything. So you must build an information filter that lets only specific atmospheric details pass through. Imagine a room. If your filter selects a cracked glass and floating dust motes, the emotional baseline shifts toward tension. But if the same filter selects warm sunlight and a cup of tea, that identical room radiates comfort. Same room, different atmosphere. Through detail selection alone, the tone can be rebuilt from scratch. The third pillar is intentional word choice. Words are not just units of meaning. They are emotional anchors. Imagine every word as a node in a vast semantic network. Dropping a specific word into a sentence radiates an emotional charge. Take a neutral concept, like rain. Pair it with slashed or dread, and the network glows with tension. Pair it with cleansing or renewal, and the frequency shifts entirely. Think of your vocabulary as a gravitational field. Every word exerts a subtle pull on the reader's emotional state. Sharp, aggressive words like slashed, pierced, or cold act as high-energy vectors. They drag the reader's visceral response toward tension. The more concentrated these vectors become, the stronger the emotional current. Now, let us see all three pillars working together. Consider a melancholic passage. First, we measure the rhythm. The sentence is long and uninterrupted, stretching the pacing into a slow, deliberate pulse. Next, we look at word choice. Soft consonants and breathy vowels dominate, words like lingered, hollow, and whisper. Combined, this extended rhythm and soft sound profile engineer a low-frequency state of quiet sadness. Now let us invert the mechanics to build tension. Consider this sequence. Footsteps stopped. The lock clicked. He held his breath. The rhythm here is entirely staccato. Short, fragmented sentences mimic a racing heartbeat. They force the reader to process information in rapid, jarring bursts. Combine that with hard stop consonants, the sharp percussive K and P sounds, and you engineer a high-frequency state of visceral alert. Ultimately, tone is never an accident. It is a meticulously engineered atmosphere. It is the frequency that dictates your reader's response, operating independently of the narrator's personality. By calibrating sentence rhythm, filtering reality through detail selection, and leveraging intentional word choice, you construct an emotional environment. Your reader feels it before they ever process the plot. So take this as fuel and permission to stretch. Now, go write.